All right, y'all, we're back in the garden. I've gotten all of that fencing that we had in the garden here, keeping the animals in over the winter, taken down, and now I'm inside our Quonset hut. Now, it's fully emptied out, as you can see. You might, for those of you that follow along with us, you might have remembered that there was some dog houses in here, and there's a pallet of hay over here. I've gotten all that cleared out, and now I have to get ready to get this thing moved just a little bit. Number one, so that I can till where this thing is sitting, and number two, so that we can move it into place and use it as a greenhouse over the summer. So, using it as a greenhouse, obviously we're gonna have to take this cover off. So let's get that done right now, and then we'll look at how we're gonna get it moved. Get all my ties off here. Oh, this one's already untied. Okay, so the ties are off of this thing, hopefully all of them. And the next step is going to be to take these red straps, loosen them up, and unhook them. Now these red straps, there's one that runs through each end of the cover, this top cover, and the end of it drapes over the end wall, and then you cinch that strap down, and it sort of crumples it in a little bit smaller than the top of this end wall to keep it from pulling back over. So we've got one on each end. We'll get those loosened up and unhooked, and we should be able to move the top of this thing, the cover. Let's find out. Oh man, those guys are tight in there. Goodness. On there, boys. Okay. All right, he's unhooked. Okay. All right, let's get the front side. There we go. All right. There we go. Well, that's all four of the straps, and I think all the ties, so it should come off. It's a little bit breezy, so it could possibly be interesting. And I'm not going to bug Miss Crystal right now because she's inside still working on editing and doing the catch-up stuff. So let's go outside and see if we can get this cover off here. Okay, so that went as well as could be expected. That tarp is surprisingly heavy, which is why we wanted to get it off before we try to move this guy, just because we have to take it off anyway. And if it's adding quite a bit of weight to it, why not pop it off now before we are going to move this guy? So let me tell you a little bit about our plans for this guy this summer. So as it sits, the Quonset hut, the door right here, is facing south, and it runs north to south. What we're going to do with this guy is we're going to use him as a greenhouse. We got some UV resistant reinforced tarps, or tarp I should say, a 20 foot by 40 foot, and we are going to turn this Quonset hut 90 degrees. Essentially, if you're looking down on the top, we're going to turn it 90 degrees clockwise. So the front door is going to be facing west, facing the house, and it will be pushed to the north sort of end of the garden there, so it's not going to be shading out any of the other plants in the garden. And then we're going to cover it with that clear 20 by 40 foot reinforced tarp and use this as an additional greenhouse space. So we're going to have the 10 by 20 greenhouse up next to the kitchen garden, and we will have this greenhouse here on the north end of the garden. So we'll get all kinds of tomatoes and maybe even some peppers this year. So let's get this cover all folded up, and then we'll keep on keeping on with getting this garden ready for this year's growing season. I think we got some stowaways, y'all. What you doing, girl? So you don't want me to take you for a ride? Guess not.
What are you doing?
Oh, you know, tilling the garden with my chickens.
Hanging with your chickens?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a week now since we tried to lure the goats with prunes to show us how they've been getting out. And although they were smart enough not to show us, we did kind of get an idea of where they were getting their footing and how they were jumping out. And so what we found is that they were climbing up this ramp on this side and then jumping up on these tires, and they had pushed against the chain link enough that they had knocked the chain link down. So we were smart enough to just tie it back up, and so far so good. Who's hoodwinked now, boys? Yeah, I love you too. Look at this crazy goat. He's trying to eat my hair. Cooper, don't be rude, dude. All right, you want to tell everybody what we haven't told them yet because we've been too busy?
Yeah, we haven't told you all that we started an entire incubator load of chicken eggs. And today is hatch day. Look at those little buddies.
Oh my gosh.
I'm worried about that one. He's too close to the edge.
Oh, I won't let him fall out. You can't fall out, buddy.
No, not that one.
Oh.
That one.
I mean,
they're trying to do their own stunts.
Your butt is in the way. There you go, dude.
Here, guys, get down there.
They're so tiny compared to the geese.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, guys. Okay. Look at how tiny he is.
Oh my gosh, they're tiny.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Look at all these guys.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh, so tiny. Okay, put the lid back on so they can stay warm.
All right, little buddies. Now we're closing this guy back up so that we can keep these little babies warm and they can wait for their little brothers and sisters to hatch. They can live for like 3 days for what they get out of their eggs, so they're going to be just fine in there.
Daisy, come on. Come on. Yeah, hi, babies. Well, the dogs are coming too. Everybody. Yeah. Hi, girl. What you got there?
I got another 4x6 post milled out of a telephone pole.
Look at you. How many of those you got now?
Why don't you come with me? You can see. got 8 right here in front of me. And I've got another 5 ready to mill over here on the pile. That'll give me 13. I need a total of 20. So most of these posts are going to come from these telephone poles. So let me get this cover all folded up. No, that's stupid. Okay. So let me get this cover all folded up and then we'll keep on, dang it, Reeve.